guys, it's Faerie Grace, and are you living the life you love? Are you waking up and satisfied with where you're going to work today and what you're doing? Do you have joy and excitement like, yeah, I'm loving my life? If you think about it right now, are you saying, yes, this is the life that I want. I am happy with this. I'm not saying completely happy, but you're happy with this. You're like, yeah, this is the life I want. And if that's you, that's awesome. And I think you should do a video, encourage other people, some of your secrets, some of your ways of how you're doing it, how you're accomplishing, living the life that you really want and that you're happy with. For those of you that are saying, you know what? I'm not really happy with my life. I'm sorry, I have like something in my eye. I'm not really happy with my life. I'm really not doing what I love and I'm just not happy. Yeah, I would say that. So what I want you to do, it's a very simple exercise. And if you only have 30 seconds, this is what I want you to do today. I want you to write your life down. So I want you to fantasize, to dream, to just daydream. Okay, what would my life look like? How I would want it if I had all the money in the world, I had a magic wand, I had all the connections that I needed, I had all the time in the world, and I had no limitations. Like no was not an option. It didn't even exist. Everything would be a yes. Just daydream, what would your life be like? How we're kids, like how we daydream about stuff, or even when we were younger, before we got tainted from the world and lies and pressure of the world to think that we couldn't dream and we couldn't do and have the life that we wanted or be the person we thought we were created and wanted and desired to be. So I want you to write that life down. And if you only have 30 seconds, I want you to write 3 goals down. You have 30 seconds and I want you just to write 3 goals down in those 30 seconds. Brian Tracy says that will tell a lot about you. That will really tell your focus and what you want and what you need. So 30 seconds, I want you to challenge yourself to write down 3 goals that you have right now without even thinking and without any limitations. It is all the possibilities of the world. And if you live in America, come on, right? We have the best country where we can do what we want. I know friends from other countries and people that live in other countries, and what we have is really astonishing. We pretty much have all the tools and the resource and the availability, and even our government to say, okay, I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm saying compared to everyone else, you have the best fighting chance to start a business or go to school and stuff like that and start a family and love and enjoy your life. So you don't have any excuses if you're in America. Okay, so besides the 30 seconds that you're going to do, you're going to get a piece of paper on your phone and you're going to just write 3 goals that I have. Look at those goals. That is so doable and so possible, whatever you wrote down. Now what you need to think about is going from your goals and then writing, how am I going to get there? How am I going to achieve this? What do I have to do or change or sacrifice even to get there? Because you will have to sacrifice to get your goals. So if one of your goals is to own a coffee shop, you're going to have to sacrifice some money. You're going to have to sacrifice some schooling and sacrifice some time to research it and learn the business and go to classes for starting a business. You're gonna have to sacrifice some money and invest in it and some other things. So there's always a sacrifice. Sometimes when we hear the word sacrifice, we see it only as a negative, but it's not. It's just you do have to give something up to get something in return. So that's one of the biggest problems you have in life, is you don't know what you want. You really have not sat down. So Brian Tracy says when he asks people, what do you want? Most people will say, I know it's up in my head, but he says, write it down. So most people, one, don't know what they want. They can't even verbalize it. They never really thought about it. But then those that do, they don't write it down. And Brian Tracy says, write it down. Like there's power in that. There's 3 different things that will trigger kinetic in your brain and maybe even metaphysics, I don't know. But there's different things in your brain that it signals your subconscious to go in and make those goals happen. So Brian Tracy says people will say, well, I don't need to write it down. 90% of the world will not write down their goals and what they want. And Brian Tracy, in his words, says those people are pretty unsuccessful. Like, they will not be successful because they won't write it down, where we know there's power in writing it down and all the triggers that it does in the laws of the universe and also in how we were created. So write it down. Like, why even fight that? If you know the most successful people did if you know what the most successful do to be successful and you still fight it and go against it, it's really silliness, because they're giving you the roadmap, they're giving you the direction to get to where they are and how they're living the life that they want. Not that they're living a perfect life, not that they're not sacrificing every day to have it and to keep it, but they can wake up and say, I have joy, I have excitement. And maybe you had that at one point in your life. Maybe when you first started your job or your vocation or your career or your schooling, you were excited. You just couldn't, you woke up with excitement and you just enjoyed it and couldn't wait to start your day. But now you're at a season where you're kind of like dreading your life, dreading your day, dreading your vocation, not really sure that you picked the right thing for school. You can change it, right? You can change it. I think in school, the average, sadly, unfortunately, whatever it is, whatever the reason, but people change their major 3 to 4 times. So it's okay if you do that. I mean, you're going to try to obviously alleviate that by writing down your goal. And that's the other thing. Sit down and write what you're going to do, what you're going to accomplish, and do it in a way that it's limitless in the mindset. Like, don't let fear, like, well, I want to go after this, but I'm not going to write it because I'm afraid people are going to mock me, laugh at me, or I'll be unsuccessful, or I won't be able to make it happen. That's all lies. That's all fear. That's not based on reality or fact. It's based on a feeling. So sometimes you need to go with your feeling, with your gut, but then you also need to have the reality that everything in this universe is limitless, from the water to the money to the friends to the establishments. It's all limitless. So once you realize everything's limitless and achievable, it will break the glass ceiling that so many of us have, because teachers told us, parents, teachers told us, relatives told us, just everyone said, like, you can only go this high, or that's not possible, it's impossible. So you have to erase all of that. So what I want you today to do, again, I'm actually going to do it myself, it's been a while since I've done it, is take 30 seconds and write 3 goals down. And then assess that, look at it, figure it out. And then if you have more time, I want you to write down what your perfect fantasy dream, no limitations day looks like. What time you want to wake up, what time you want to go to bed, what do you want to do during that day. I asked my friend today, because she has a career that I think was a time and a season, and she's not really using all her gifts and abilities and doing things that make her happy. So I asked her that today, and she's like, yeah, I'm kind of like over it. I was telling my sweetheart I'm kind of over it, and I'm like, yeah, I really feel like you've been over it for a while, and you really need to get into some joy and get into really using more of your talents and gift. So I said, you have a magic wand today. You have no limits. You have all the money, all the resources in the world. You wake up. What are you doing? What's your vocation? What are you doing? Don't even have to think about money. Money doesn't matter. Money's not part of it. And she said, I would like to have like a cafe and a diner, but also do my massage and make cupcakes. So she said each of those, not collectively, but in that conversation. And her first initial answer was a massage and cupcake place. And she does. She makes really awesome, all yummies like that, cupcakes and cakes and cookies, the best chocolate chip cookies I've ever had. And she laughed as she said it. So I allowed her to give her that freedom to think and just have no limitations. And that's what she came up with. She came up with, I want to have a place where I can do my massages, and I also can serve my cupcakes. That is so doable. Like, as she laughed, I'm like, you can laugh, but laugh it into existence. It's so easy to do. I'm not saying there's not going to be elbow grease, there's not going to be sacrifice, there's not going to be hard work, there's not going to be days where you're just pulling your hair out and say, I should just be working at Walmart, which is totally fine. If you're supposed to be working at Walmart, she's not supposed to be working at Walmart in this season of her life. It's so doable. So now what she needs to do, now that she commanded it and brought it into existence, she needs to write it down. that triggers laws in the universe, things in her mind, how she was created to get it done and to achieve it. And then things will start to present itself to help make that possible. Her own mind and her subconscious will go into how to make that possible. And the resources and everything she needs to do it will come to her. The opportunities will open themselves up. Again, I'm not saying it's a perfect, easy road. I'm just saying it's a doable, possible road with the end result of the success and happiness you want, if that's truly what you want. So then she needs to sit down and methodically write, okay, what does Confucius say? A journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. What also do we know? The law of inertia, the hardest thing is to start, but then you get momentum, and that's why you build up. That's why you should start small tasks to build up the confidence and build up the bank account and build up strength to get to where you need to go. Even if you're like physically working out and you want to start bench pressing 300 pounds, you're not going to start that day at 300 pounds, but you're going to do a tiny step to get all the muscles going, and then build every other day or whatever towards that, and eventually reach your goal to the 300 pounds or whatever you want to lift. It's the same thing with your goals, with your dreams, with your life. It's a process, it's a step, it is that journey. Confucius didn't say, okay, journey of 1,000 miles, just visualize it and you're there. He didn't say journey of 1,000 miles, write it down and it's going to happen that day. No, he said you have to go through the process. You have to take the steps to get there. And I'm encouraging you to take the steps. But most people, I want to say 99%, but I won't. 90% of people or 80% of people, I feel more accurate saying 80% of people really don't want to do the work. They just want to get there, right? All of us want to have that beach body, that Pamela Anderson body, or that rock body, or whatever. We want to have that body of someone else's, but guess what? That person worked their butt off to get there. They made the sacrifices to eat right, or put limitations on the things that they shouldn't be eating, getting up early or staying up late to get there. They put the work in to get there. It didn't magically happen for them. You can visualize it as much as you want. You can write it down as much as you want. But if you don't put the elbow grease and the steps that come to you at the opportunities that comes to you and actually do it, it's not going to happen. So you have to go through the journey and the process. And that's why when I speak, I'm very big on saying you need to have joy in the journey. Because see, you can write that perfect life, that goal down, but as you're going through it, it may deviate a little bit into the path that you're really meant to have. Like, it's still going to be connected. It's still going to be a fine woven cloth and tapestry, but it may deviate a little bit to exactly where you need to go. And that's awesome. You fine tune as you go on the journey, right? You make some stops here, some pit stops here. You make some glorious moments, some monumental moments in there, and you continue the journey. So that's why you can't have your journey like a labor of pain. It needs to be a labor of love. Like, you're still enjoying getting to that process, because the process may take longer than you want, but if you have joy on the journey, then you're okay. Think about it when you're literally traveling and going somewhere. What helps you get there quicker? When you enjoy it, when you have good music, when you have some snacks or stop for some snacks or goodies, or you stop for some food, or you have good company, right? That's huge. They say the quickest way to travel or to get to your destination is good company. I'm a firm believer of that. And that company, even if you're by yourself, could be you're praying and you're meditating and you're worshiping and you're listening to good audio books and you're doing things that encourage you. You're letting the wind, like I am right now, just blow on you. It feels amazing. The weather feels amazing today. But you're doing things on your journey to enjoy it. But first you need to know where you are going. Don't just get in your car and just expect to get somewhere when you don't even have your destination. But that's how most of us are living. Most of us are living our life with no destination in mind, and before we know it, days go by, weeks go by, months go by, years go by, decades go by, and our lifetime goes by, and we never fulfilled or completed the mission and the calling in our life because we stopped. We didn't stop. We didn't even start because we didn't really know where we were going. So you need to have clarity of mind and say, what type of life do I want? What do I want out of life? And then write down, how will I get there? What are the steps I need to make to accomplish that? And doing that is by writing it down, by speaking it out, to sharing it with the right people, not the wrong people, sharing it with the people that maybe have already done that, or saying, hey, do you know someone that's gone to this school or got this education or worked at this place or created this place or wrote this book, whatever. Networking in the sense of directly asking someone. I don't feel you have to go to a networking group. They're not around anymore right now, but be more, I want to say like poignant. That's a word I'm making up. I can't think of the word I'm thinking of, but be very selective and fine tune a pinpoint of talking to the right people to ask them who you could talk to or who you'd recommend or a mentor. So this video is really long. It's probably going to take forever to upload, which I really suck at that part. But I basically want to make sure, are you living the life you want? And if you're not waking up happy, if you're not waking up full of joy, if you're not waking up with excitement and looking forward to the day, then change something. It could be staying where you are and just fine tuning some things, changing some things about you. I know when I work out and I dress nice, I feel nice and I feel great. I know for a fact when I start my day with prayer and reading a little bit of the word that my day goes so much better. I know like these are things that I can do and I control, that when I go into an environment that I can't control everything or anything, I'm still in a good place and I'm still happy and I'm still successful and ready to conquer the world and handle things very well, versus when I get out of bed and I feel yucky and I dress yucky and I ate yucky, my day is yucky, and then I'm setting myself up for failure. So control your day, your moment, how you get out. That's why your castle should be your safe haven, should be your sanctuary. It should be clean, it should be in order, it should be decorated how you want. I've always said for years, if something doesn't give you joy, get rid of it. I know someone kind of did a famous book on that. A lot of the points that I definitely felt, so it was only a confirmation. That's really awesome. She did that. She's helping people, and I completely agree. If something doesn't give you joy, if something doesn't make you smile, get rid of it, let go of it. And maybe you think, oh, it's worth money, or so and so gave it to me. Pass it on, give it to someone else that it's a piece of their puzzle and to unlock something in their life and in their home. But don't keep it if it doesn't give you joy and if it doesn't make you happy. And maybe you're saying that's some people in your life. Okay, then do what you need to do with that as well, to either distance yourself or limit yourself or take a break at that moment. But surround yourself with things and people and an environment that makes you feel comfortable and inspired and happy. And one of it alone can just be going through your house, going through your car, going through your dorm, going through your office, and throwing away garbage, throwing away trash. That is huge. Clean it off, wipe off all the dust, wipe off all the filth, and that alone will spark and open up creativity and possibility where the garbage is sitting in your life. I'm Faerie Grace, and you're amazing.